Keron Rose, our digital strategist, digital expert, and digital nomad. He's out there in Thailand, having a time working and being able to handle his bills and his scenarios here at home, treat with himself out there. He's visiting that side of the world. You can catch him in Cambodia on a given day. You can catch him in Vietnam. You can catch him in China on a given day. I mean, you're living the life. And the whole concept of the digital nomad, you really brought that to my attention and to the attention of most who look at the program. Many never heard the phrase before. So I'm happy that today we get a chance to re-examine that particular lifestyle and career path. Keron, great to see you. Thank you so much for the time. And I want to ask you first and foremost, what is a digital nomad? Let's define that for the nation looking on this morning.
Yeah, and again, it's always a pleasure to be here every single week, and I love the conversations we have because I think it's so needed, especially in the times that we are in right now, right? So what is a digital nomad? A digital nomad is basically somebody who their entire career path, everything that they do is digital. And once you're digital and you have that flexibility of working from anywhere, a digital nobody is somebody who is going to lean into that, and they're going to be traveling, right? So they could be based in Portugal. They could be there for a month, 2 months at a time and decide, you know what, let me go and take a week to another country and then come back to Portugal. The goal is you want to be digital, you want to be able to work from anywhere, and you want to take advantage of that by leaning into traveling.
I mean, the next obvious question people will ask, how does one earn? People always get down to the collaterals. How does one make money being a digital nomad, Keron Rose?
Yeah. So this is where the biggest shift has to take place, right? Because when we still think of the world of work, we are still conditioned that work happens in a physical building, a cubicle, 9 to 5. That is what people think of when it comes to work and how they earn. When it comes to being in the digital space and working, one of the things that I recommend, if you are somebody who is a full-time employee, right, and you are working in a corporate space, you're working at a desk, one of the things that you can do that I recommend is go to your employer and pitch them. Pitch your current employers, hey, would you be willing to deduct a 15%? I'm just using that as a random number. Would you be willing to give me a 15% pay cut if that means I can work 100% from anywhere? When you do that, and once they give you the okay, because this is something that people are doing, once they give you the okay, now you can take your money that you are earning and go and live in a lower cost economy where the exchange rate of the money that you're earning works in your favor. So if you're in Trinidad, your Trinidad and Tobago dollars is going to go a lot further in a place like Vietnam than it's going to be in TNT. So you could ask your employers to take a 15% pay cut and do something like that. The other thing is flat out start looking into what are the digital jobs that are available. There's companies around the world that are hiring for remote jobs. It could be things in like finance. It could be accounting. A lot of the accountants today are digital nomads. They can work from anywhere. You have people who work in customer service, and again, they work from anywhere. If you are somebody who has skill sets within marketing, right? So I'm in digital marketing, e-commerce, social media managers. These are some roles that you're able to be 100% digital. One thing you can do, everybody has a phone or they have a computer, right? Jump on a platform like ChatGPT and just ask ChatGPT, hey, what are the top 20 digital roles? And then you could also ask ChatGPT to interview you and figure out what is the best fit for you in terms of a digital role.
My sister, she's an accountant, and she, just like you, loves to travel, and she's actually able to work digitally from all over the world. So yeah, it's true. Accountants could really take up that particular model. Let me ask you though, because this is a very important part of any work scenario, that work-life balance and keeping yourself motivated as a digital nomad. How has that been for you and people you talk to?
It's really surreal when the type of balance you can strike as a digital nomad, living in economies like the South American economies or even the Asian economies, and even some of the Eastern European countries where the cost of living is cheaper and you're earning a higher currency. So for me, being in Thailand, one of the reasons I chose Thailand over Colombia, because that was a place that I wanted to be in as well, was the lower cost of living. Because I have those savings now, I don't work as much as I used to because I live in a lower cost economy. I don't have to work as much. I don't need as much money. So now that I'm not working as much, that money that I have stretches further. I can now go, if I want to go and take a trip and go down south to any one of the islands in Thailand, I can do that. If I want to go and travel to China, to Bali, when you look at the cost of flights for these countries, for me to go to Bali from Thailand, it's 200 US return trip. For me to go to Maldives, it's 200, even less, 150 to 200 US. So when you're living in a country that also is a hub where you can get to multiple destinations, sub 200 US, that allows you to travel some more. And then again, when you're looking at some of the services, from the massage services, fire cupping services, manicures, pedicures, all of these things are, very, very affordable. So your money goes a long way, and you can reinvest that money into personal care and just well-being. And again, you don't have to work as hard because of that currency exchange rate.
How do you make friends and overcome loneliness on the road, Keron Rose? Because, yes, all the amenities are there. You're able to travel and see the place, but you don't know anybody there, Keron. You're coming into a whole new space, a whole new world. How's that been for you?
Listen, it's been one of the things I love doing now is just sharing the day-to-day journey on my Instagram stories and also my Facebook stories as well, right? And one thing people have started to realize is they're like, Keron, you make friends really easy. And I'm like, you know what it is? When you are kind of just walking in your purpose, you start to enter into the right rooms. I could go anywhere in Thailand and sit down in a coffee shop and a conversation with a random stranger get struck up. So like the other day, I went to a coffee shop and I was sitting down and I ended up in a conversation with 4 other people from different parts of the world. One was an American guy who's been living in Bali for the last 13 years. One was somebody who was from Thailand, but they were living in England for a hot minute and then they came back. And then the other guy, I'm hearing his accent, so I'm like, where are you from? He's like, Canada. I'm like, where in Canada? He's like, Toronto. I'm like, Toronto? I'm from Toronto too. So I tell him where I'm from, and he's like, are you serious? I live 2 minutes down the street. And then we ended up learning that we went to the exact same high school. He's just 2 years younger than me. So you meet people from all over the world, and because everybody is looking for community, whether it's at the gym, whether it's at a coffee shop, whether it's you're going out to a bar, people are just willing to have conversations, and they're at a different place in their life where everybody's kind of going away from the stressful environments of the West, North America, UK, you name it, right? People are here, they're a lot more friendlier because they really have found peace, and it's been easier to connect with people, who are just in a better place in their lives.
Let me ask finally, and this is a very important question, Keron Rose, and I guess this speaks to beyond this year, we're talking here down the road. Is the digital nomad lifestyle truly sustainable, or is this just a phase? You're young, you're adventurous, no set of major commitments. Somebody in the early 20s just want to see the world, travel. Could one do this 10, 20, 30 years down the road, a digital nomad lifestyle?
That's a great question. And let me say this. All of the digital nomad visas that the countries are rolling out, they all have provisions to bring your family. So I'm on the Destination Thai visa. It's a 5-year visa here in Thailand. You can bring your spouse, you can bring all of your dependents on that visa. So all the countries rolling out digital nomad visas, the provisions are there to bring your family. What is going to happen is the future of work is going to be digital. And because we're in this transition, moving away from a lot of these traditional roles, because now the AI is going to be wiping out a lot of these roles, and a lot of the new roles that are coming out are going to be more digital, people are going to have no choice but to upskill, and the jobs are going to be more digital. And because the jobs themselves are going to be more digital, that's ultimately going to give you that flexibility to now pick and choose where you want to live as more countries roll out the digital nomad visas. So again, you don't have to travel every single month, right? I travel for work. If you have a family, a lot of people I meet have families and they've moved. They don't have to travel every single month. A digital nomad is just somebody who is able to work from anywhere, right? Once you can work from anywhere, that opens you up to literally work from anywhere. It doesn't matter the country. So yes, it's going to be sustainable as more jobs convert to digital, and that's just going to be the standard of work. And Jason, 5 years from now, that's not even going to be a question because that's just going to be the standard.
Wow, Keron, you're already into the future, bro, and you're bringing it in real time to those here in Trinidad. And again, it's a beautiful time and place and a beautiful moment, because we find ourselves now with different careers and a different opportunity. I mean, when I started off, I remember, going into radio, announcing. Yes, it's always been a career, but sometimes you come from a generation that look at lawyer, doctor, engineers, and we have gone a different direction, journalism. You could go into entertainment. I know folks who are professional dancers. So the options are limitless, and I want to thank you for bringing the digital nomad conversation to the wider audience. Keron Rose, all the best. Stay safe.
Let me add this one last thing in. Just 2 weeks ago, the first operation remotely happened. So there was a doctor in Chinese who operated on a patient in Italy, and it was all done 100% remotely. That being said, Jason, when we talk about digital, that is somebody who could be living on an island. All he has is internet, and he's able to conduct a surgery. That is the future, but that is now. That's happening now.
Yeah. Keron Rose, as always, all the best and sincere thanks, man. Have a great one.
Take care.
That's right. Keron Rose, digital nomad, living and operating and having a time out there in Thailand. Up next, we bring it home. Dr. LeBlanc, she joins me as we get ready for the Relay for Life under the umbrella of the TNT Cancer Society. Dr. LeBlanc, up next.